is Cosmo Royale, telling you to get ready for Gazbot and the Big Dawg Defender. Action activate!
Energize. Whoa, what's going on? It's me, Gazbot, for Action Activate. And if I'm here, well, then you know who also must be here as always. Yes, almost did it.
It's me, the Big Dawg Defender. How's it going?
Pretty good. So what is going on? We're not reviewing an s.p.d. episode. We're not reviewing a Beast Morphers episode. We're just chatting and talk about news.
We are. So enough news piled up where we went, you know what? We should talk about it. Also, coincidentally, we both happen to be free today and wanted to hang out with you guys and talk about it. So we're still going through kind of the, we'll call it the gap between the last s.p.d. two-parter and the final s.p.d. two-parter. So we're chugging along there and wanted to just talk about other Ranger news. Some very important Ranger news came out today. So Gazbot, I'll let you see where we start and I will ramble accordingly.
Okay, I'll share a screen here real quick. So I'm going to share my screen to give you some visual aids. And I'll do my Chrome tab so you don't see, you're supposed to be rambling while I'm doing this. I'm doing the rambling.
Yeah, I know. So Gazbot's got some tabs that he's going to share depending on what we talk about. First things first, most recent news, most relevant to pretty much most Ranger fans. Power Rangers or Power Morphicon 2021 is no longer. We are now going back to Power Rangers Power Morphicon 2022, back on the biannual schedule. This makes sense. I mean, I'm a little bummed, but it's not unexpected.
I'm a lot bummed, but I'm not at all surprised. Yeah, because I'm a lot bummed. Well, I mean, we're all bummed. And even people that can't go to Power Morphicon, it's still a great event to have because you can watch the panels later and there's announcements. And like, so if you get to go, that's great. But it's kind of like Comic-Con where even if you don't go, it's a fun event in the fandom.
Exactly.
I'm very bummed. I think they're making the right call, to be clear. Like this is the right thing to do. Good for them, you know, because it seems like restrictions won't be lifted and it won't be safe enough by then, most likely. And they have to plan this so far in advance. They kind of have to decide right now. And so they're doing the right thing. But that aside, I am bummed out because, you know, we were supposed to have it last year and it got canceled. And so they said, okay, we're going to do it this year, which would have messed up the biannual schedule. But I and the Big Dawg have been there. I've been there as a fan and I've been there selling art. Have not been there since we've started this show. Have not been there since I've gotten a ton more Power Rangers art. Have not been there since we've made friendships with certain people in the fandom and certain actors. And so like, even though I've been there a couple times, the next one I go to should be the best one I've ever been to for a lot of personal reasons. And so again, they've made the right call, but I've been like, I can't wait till the next Morphicon. Oh, it's pushed back a year. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, the next year. Nope, it's been pushed back a year. So like in a selfish personal way, even though I've been lucky enough to go a few times, this was going to be the big one for me. Yeah,
to me, kind of similar sentiments to Gazbot, everything he said, but for me, I've had so many like personal life things I was looking forward to change or get postponed or whatnot that I'm honestly very just numb to it now, which is why I think I'm just like shrugging and Gazbot is more invested, especially from the art side. But no, like to me, it's going to happen when it's going to happen from a taking, you know, personal kind of feelings aside, whether you think they should do it or absolutely think they shouldn't. From a logistics standpoint, there's zero chance they could say, hey, not sure if this will still go on in 5 months. You want to sign up?
Right. Like, no, like I said, they're doing the absolute responsible thing from a business point of view, from a health point of view. You know, Scott or whoever made the final decision absolutely did the right thing. I want to be crystal clear about that, which is weird because, you know, I don't like to get into the drama that seems to be in this fandom, which somehow like we're not really a part of most of the time, which I'm glad of.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of it's a blessing and a curse because we're not in the middle of all that. But that also means we're not really in the middle of a lot of the like a lot of people don't know who we are, which is good and bad. But I just caught a whiff of it on Twitter, which I'm also I go on Twitter, but not that much. And I know you don't go on at all. And maybe a lot of it happens there. Maybe that's why. But it was just like people being like, I'm unfollowing this channel and I'm gonna stop. Like, and I was like, what's going on? And I guess some people, I couldn't name names even if I wanted to, are very upset that it's not happening. Now, I'm upset that it's not happening.
Yeah.
But in a way that, boy, what a bummer. That was a thing I was looking forward to. Not in a way that I'm mad at the people who are following regulations or planning accordingly. But I guess some people are like very upset to the point where and there's a lot of arguments, which is terrible. But I don't even understand it. Like I don't understand it.
The thing because I know we have literally a global audience, the thing to keep in mind that we're more accustomed to for obvious reasons that other people aren't. California for the United States is one of the strictest states when it comes to current regulations, what you're allowed to do, what you're not. 98% of our state can't have you eat outside as of today, period, end of sentence. Yeah, that could be blasphemous to you. That could be, should be more
matter whether you agree with it or not. Those are the rules we live under.
That's currently where we're at. So for some people, this is me assuming, that are getting very worked up about it on Twitter, they may not, realize that where it's like, well, I'm doing this. Why can't they just make it work doing X, Y, Z? It's like literally a restaurant down the street from me can't have 3 people eat on the patio because the state's not letting them. So getting a convention together is...
I had to go to FedEx the other day. I had to go in person. I had no choice for this return. And they had a sign on the door that they couldn't have more than 7 people in at a time. And after I went in, somebody had to wait outside until somebody left. And that's normal here. I mean, it's not good, but it's normal. So, but the other thing is, all that aside, like... it's a business. I mean, it's run by fans and the people like it and whatever. But I'm sure I'm saying Scott because he's the person I know in the figure, but there are other people involved. But I'm sure Scott and all. Yeah, I'm sure Scott and the people involved, they want to throw it on. They want to make money. They want to make, it's not like they don't want to do it. They're not being lazy or something. So I don't know. I'm very, very disappointed more than Big Dog because, like he said, he's been girding himself. But I'm not at all angry at anybody. I'm just sad.
Same.
Yeah. And to your point earlier about being numb to a lot of stuff, I also have had a lot of things canceled and this and that. Like, so I think I was mostly numb, but this was already postponed a year and it was so far into the year that I thought, okay, well this was like the point I was letting myself look forward to. So I was like, oh, I should have pushed it further. I shouldn't have started having hope yet.
Yeah. I've definitely embraced my inner Eeyore recently. So that's why I'm just like, well, but I mean, silver lining of it all.
Yes.
I was going to say they're still doing a virtual one, which we need to look into because the way that it was going to go for us, we were going to be more on the behind the scenes side of like Gazbot and the art side and Action Activate and not as fans like we were in the past. So for the virtual side, we got to figure out how to view it. Is everybody on the same playing field? What the deal is. But I can tell you that I plan on looking into it either from a what's the recap of what happened at Virtual Morphicon or being there live virtually and just kind of seeing like who's talking, what are we doing here and this and that. Because like we said, a lot of stuff has changed in the last year. It's continuing to change this year and we're adapting and Virtual Morphicon, just like the viewing globe thing had in the past, is better than nothing, and I will take what I can get.
And I've gone to / watched several virtual events, and it's the way I look at it is for the people. Like I've gone to Comic-Con almost every year since I've lived in California, but previous to that, I would watch and like even though I didn't get to go, it was still an exciting. Oh, let me keep up to date. What's going on all weekend? So I just think of it as like, oh, this is like for people that can't go. This is how they get into it. But it's more tailored to people that can't go because no one could go.
Exactly.
And I, aside from the fandom side of it, sometimes there are opportunities for people to be involved. Beyond. I'm not saying we are. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, we literally found this out today.
Yeah. I'm not saying we're involved whatsoever. To be clear, but I personally, not as Action Activate, but Gazbot the artist, I was supposed to do a Godzilla event, for example. That got canceled. Then there was this online one that I got to be a part of, and I got to be part of a panel and do some art. And then there was like the Viewing Globe. We had our little thing on that. So we have been lucky to be involved in one or two of those in the past. I am absolutely not saying we're involved in this, but if there's an opportunity, we'll take it. If it, if it's something we can do, we will do it for sure. Either as Action Activate or as me as an artist. However, if it's possible, we'll definitely get in there. And if not, we'll just, like fans, pay attention and talk about it after.
You'll see another one of these in 6 months going, hey, guess what they talked about at Virtual PMC 2021. So I think that's a good note to end on for that piece of news. As we find out more, we'll let you know. And/or a lot of you guys are more inquisitive than we are, and you'll probably tell us some of it in the comments. So feel free.
Whenever we don't do enough research, it's you guys in the comments just let us know. In a good way.
Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, what's our next piece of news that we're going to talk about?
I was going to go on to something negative, but I feel like we just did something kind of negative.
You got to do every other.
Okay, this is one we didn't. This is a really quick, easy one that we actually didn't talk about, but I'll just throw it up. Sorry, real quick. Boop. So talking about, I stopped sharing my screen. Talking about the Lightning Collection. You asked me right before we started, like, hey, are we going to talk about any Lightning Collection stuff? And the answer is no, because we just did one where we addressed the what do you call it? The rumors. And as far as I know, there's no more rumors, blah, 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 blah. But I did want to talk. This is an old picture from Toy Wizards of the Spectrum series. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I was at Target yesterday or the day before, and I saw these two figures. These came out a while ago, November. I saw them still in the Spectrum packaging at Target. I have previously, I have the Astronomer box set I got for myself, and I've seen s.p.d. Blue like 2 weeks ago. I haven't seen green. I haven't seen any of the Mighty Morphin, but everything else I've seen fairly easily. I haven't been buying them because it's not something I'm personally worried about, but I want to give hope to those that are looking, because I do collect a lot of things at Target that I can never find, super hard to get, very frustrating. These Spectrum boxes, at least in our area, the Bay Area, California, seem to be not terribly difficult to get. They're not impossible if I've just stumbled on them a few times. And I don't know if this was a restock or what, but again, this came out in November. I saw it yesterday, which was the 17th of January. So either they've been kicking around for a while, they got a restock, whatever. Again, not news per se, but just something a little more hopeful that if this is something you're looking for, you've got a chance.
I've seen regulars of all of those, not of the single release,
not
but
for
I've seen regular Connor and I think Spectrum Connor. I've seen no putties. I've seen no Green Ranger. I may have seen White Ranger and just forgot. And I've seen Spectrum of Astronema, s.p.d. 2-pack, but not these. I've just seen the regular monsters. And we've talked about it before, and I'm just going to say it one more time.
Yeah.
I feel very torn on the monsters. I want them to keep doing the monsters. These monsters are not what I wanted.
Same. Yeah, same.
The monsters themselves I would take, but done right. The fact
done right, I would be more interested, but neither one would be on the top of my list.
If they were painted, I would buy them.
If they were painted, I'd be more likely to buy them, but I feel like if there was like 2 or 3 monsters that came out and I liked, then I might get these guys to fill out the ranks. But neither one of these is like top 10 for me even.
They're not top 10 for me, but I want to support this line when I like it and when I want to support it. And these are making me not want to support this part of the line, but I want more monsters. So it's a super catch-22.
You know what? There is a Lightning Collection rumor we didn't talk about regarding monsters. It isn't even super recent, but there's a strong rumor that the next 2 monsters, I'm forgetting one, but the other one would be Pudgy Pig. Which
I'd be down for Pudgy Pig. For sure.
I wouldn't. I mean, I understand why.
I love Pudgy Pig as a kid. That was one of my favorite episodes as a kid with the spicy radish.
That's fine. And there are lots of people that like Pudgy Pig. So I'm not like, why would they choose this? But it's, again, I want Pudgy Pig less than these two. I never liked the character design. It looks like a big like pig Pac-Man with a Roman helmet. It's just not my thing. But that's not even the thing. It's the same reason King Sphinx, I think, a much cooler looking monster. But King Sphinx, I said before, like he's one of like the first 12 like ish, that are always popular, because when Power Rangers first came out, they only knew about these many monsters. And so they got put on bed sheets and notebooks. And even though they weren't major characters, they were in one episode. There's the first, I'm making up a number saying 12. I don't know how many monsters are like on everything. And like everybody remembers them and they're popular because they were on the merchandise more than in the show. And so I feel like that's, again, Pudgy Pig, that's why he's getting put on there before somebody like I don't know, Darkonda or something like that, who is a much bigger character. But I do support the line in theory. I just can't bring myself to buy characters that are not super high on my list and are not painted well and cost more than the normal figures. It's too much for me. But again, for those that do and want the spectrum, you got a good chance of finding them.
Yeah. One thing for rumors that we didn't touch upon, but I just kind of realized, the more rumors we're seeing far ahead of time of the next 1, 2, maybe even 3 waves, the more nervous I'm getting about the Beast Morphers team.
It's a good point. It's a very good point. I not coming out with Steel. Well, here's the thing: we need Steel and Zoe. Well,
Yes.
not even talking about the villains, because it's weird that we only got Blaze, not Roxy. But putting that aside, Zoe seems the obvious one to at least fill out the core team. You don't get the 5th and 6th or the 4th and 5th Ranger necessarily, but at least those 3 are done. But let's say they're doing the argument of like female figures don't sell or whatever, then why not Steel? He's a 6th Ranger. He's silver. He's a robot. So I don't understand. The 2 of them are opposite ends of the spectrum of the types of characters they are. So it seems like we should get one. If like whatever their theory is, we should be getting one of them. And it's weird that you're right. It seems like we're not going to get either for a while.
I don't know what it is. I mean, just put him as a 2-pack. I don't get why you wouldn't just make them a 2-pack. She is the only one that is unique, and Steel is a head swap and repaint of Gold Ranger. That's all it is.
Yeah. They could also, even though she's unique, there have been other female figures. So maybe I'd have to look at it, but maybe you could reuse the boots or the upper arm. There might be pieces they could reuse. So it would be 100% new. But in addition to us getting these leaks that are potentially true, which seem to very often be true, I feel like Beast Morphers got pushed in the beginning of the line because it's the current season. And hey, maybe some kids will buy them too, whatever. But it is primarily an adult collectible line, and the average adult collector, obviously in this sphere, we're all watching Beast Morphers, but the average adult collector isn't nostalgic for Beast Morphers. They're not. So I worry that it could be never. It could be 10 years. It could be, they might wait until, which it's like, and not even, here's the thing. It's not even that I had to have Lightning Collection Beast Morphers, but now that I have most of them, how long? Yeah. Well, this was supposed to be a positive one.
Do you still have your basic? Do you still have your basic 6-inch figures of them?
I don't remember. I took them. I used to have them on my wall right here, which is why I looked. I took them down off my wall. I put them in a box as I'm going to sell these, and I don't remember if I sold them or not because we were going to do a toy show and COVID and everything. So I honestly don't remember if I have them or not.
Okay. What I would say in the interim, and this is advice both to Gazbot and all of you, if you have them, keep them. Just because, like we said, we don't know. And if you don't have them, I've seen them at Ross in the last couple months.
Oh, really?
I'm sure online they should be like, $5, $10 was retail. I think it's worth getting them now. If you have to sell them later for $3, it's fine. But we have not heard a peep about getting either of these Rangers in the Lightning Collection.
I have an alternate. Like if you just collect them and you don't have most of the Lightning Collection, then yeah, fine. But if you, like me, have all of the Lightning Collection versions, here's my alternate. I have a 6-inch Steel that matches that set in my display right now. It's a Sofubi vinyl from Japan, and I got it for, I don't know, $12, something like that. It doesn't pose much, he just stands there, but he looks fine. The proportions are right and he fits right in. I am thinking about I don't know what the prices are now because I got this, 6 months, a year ago. But I'm thinking about trying to get one for, well, I guess it'd be Go Busters Yellow. If I can get one for 20 or less, I'll probably do that. So if, like me, you don't like mixing scales and you're going for Lightning, look into the I think it's called Hero Series, but 6-inch Sofubi vinyls is that's what I recommend.
I mean, Zoe will be shorter than them, so I feel like she blends in the most versus Steel.
She blends in better than Steel. I'll agree with that first half, but they're not the same scale. And it's not even just about the height, because I used to think that too. Like, well, she's a quarter of an inch taller, but she's shorter. The proportions are weird. You know what I mean? Because she's not meant to be in that proportion, but a little bit shorter. It's just noticeable. It's very noticeable to me.
The paint is similar, though, is another thing. I'm not disagreeing with your Sofubi argument, but yeah.
The retail Beast Morphers figures are very high quality. I like them. I'm not disparaging them. I don't think they mix well with Lightning Collection. The only way you can make them mix well is if you have like a multi-tier thing where you have them way in the background and stuff, but mine isn't that deep. I just have if I put her all the way in the back, you could still tell. You know what I mean? My shelf isn't that deep. But yeah.
There you go. On to the next one.
That was the positive one. So, well, the negative one was something that we've touched on already, but we'll talk about a little bit more in depth, which everybody's talking about. But Netflix losing Power Rangers at the end of this month, which is why we're trying to catch up on s.p.d. as quick as we can. The only ones they're keeping, I think there's a list down here.
Mighty Morphin 1 through 3, Beast Morphers
1 through 4. It says 1 through 4 here.
There's only 3 seasons of Mighty Morphin.
Alien Rangers, maybe they're counting? Or was that season 3?
That's 3.5, yeah.
It says Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 4 seasons. Oh, maybe that Neo one they did.
Oh,
yeah. But they're still counting it as something they have because Ninja Steel, and then they don't have Megaforce and Super Megaforce and Samurai, but they have a lot of the specials. You could see the Legendary Battle Extended and some Christmas specials. So I feel like that's probably why they're counting Mighty Morphin as like the redo as an extra one, because it's something they have the rights to. And then Beast Morphers. Now, here's the interesting thing. With Dino Fury, do they have it here? Yeah. Dino Fury has Netflix listed as one of the distributors. So for those that watched on Netflix first run, maybe you're in luck, at least with season 1 of Dino Fury. The weirder thing, though, as we've said before, isn't that it's leaving Netflix. The Office is leaving Netflix. Lots of stuff leaves. Things switch around. But no announcement as to where it's going. Like,
yeah.
And again, with the way they're trying to build up the brand and Hasbro's doing all this stuff, you would think they'd go, oh, we're putting it on our own special Hasbro channel, or you could get it on iTunes or like something. As of now, or once this happens, it'll only be available bootleg or if you have the DVDs. And that's a weird place to be putting this franchise when it's like, it's always teetering on, oh, are we going to take off and be mainstream, or are we going to fade to obscurity? And it's like, it's kind of been teetering like that for the last couple of years, where it could make a huge comeback, but it hasn't yet. So making it harder to find, and I don't know if this is Netflix or Hasbro who made the decision, but I'd be going somewhere in an hour. Or even if you don't have a deal in place, if I was Hasbro, I'd be like, yeah, we're leaving Netflix, but stay tuned because we're going to show up somewhere fun, whatever. But I don't know. It's unfortunate.
In the immortal kind of Hasbro trend, something happens with Power Rangers and they don't talk about it at all.
Yeah, unfortunately true. I will say this, though. It's a little off topic, but as I don't want to say badly, as not perfectly as Hasbro has been handling Power Rangers and their toys and stuff, getting into collecting the new G.I. Joe line has made me not mind the Power Rangers line as much. Like, I was coming from Star Wars Black Series and Marvel Legends, which are handled pretty well consistently. There's mistakes, of course. So going to Power Rangers, I'm like, what, did they forget how to do toys? Then when I went to G.I. Joe, I'm like, oh, Power Rangers is being handled amazingly well considering how they're handling G.I. Joe. So it's sort
Are you
of like
talking the figures themselves or just distribution?
Distribution is a big part of it. Yeah. I don't have enough G.I. Joe figures to know if the quality of the paint and stuff, they have the same problems as Lightning Collection, but I do have a few that right out of the box, the joints are so loose that they flop over. So I would say they both have some QC issues. Just like the molds and the designs on both are great. But they both have some QC issues, and Power Rangers has a little bit of a distribution issue, but G.I. Joe, it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't want to go off on the whole G.I. Joe thing. I've thought about making a video having nothing to do with art, having nothing to do with Action Activate. Just, hey, I'm Gazbot. I'm going to talk about G.I. Joe and just do that. But I'm not going to do that here.
Well, if you like Gazbot and him rambling, tell us below if you want to see that G.I. Joe. I'm actually, so yeah, if you want to talk about that separately, let me know, because I'm curious as well. I have my own opinions. But yeah, like, it's a thing. We've said it for over a year now. Hey, Hasbro, why don't you just talk to us about this stuff? And it makes it so much easier. Instead of somebody going, hey, Power Rangers says it's expiring at the end of February. Just put something out. Just say something.
Even if we knew like 6 months ago or something, it's also like the short notice is weird too.
Yeah.
But yeah, just communication. And they don't even, here's the thing, they don't even have to be great at communicating. They don't have to like put out a commercial. There's so many social influencers and people in the community. And I don't mean us. I mean, like Bruno or whoever, or, Lavender Ranger, and anybody. Just tell one of the people that you think is the good one that you want to deal, and everybody will know within an hour. Like everybody will know that cares. So whatever.
Power Rangers has their own official, like, Twitter, Instagram, all that. They've in the past commented on so much stuff. Somehow they were in the news because they said something about Lady Gaga's Power Rangers inspired video, and that was a thing. Great. Use it. Just talk. Talk to the people who care.
And
let us know.
You're getting fired up there, Big Dog.
Very fired up. I haven't been fired up like this in a while.
It's true. Well, and here's the thing. There's always behind the scenes business stuff and NDAs and things that we don't know about. Fine. But once you get to the point where it's announced, you know, like, okay, you couldn't say anything until a month away or until Netflix is thing. Now it's been said. Now is the time. Well, not now, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever. They should have used it and said, hey, you've probably heard about this. Stand by, or like just anything, just like acknowledging. And that's the weird part.
Enjoy it while you can, like something.
Yeah, just something. Yeah, it's very odd. All right, so this has been a very negative news day.
I know. I didn't. It wasn't the intention, but
No.
we're fired up because we care, and that's why it's so frustrating. And it's funny because the one that arguably should have been the most emotional, we were just like, we accept everything that's happening and wish for the best for everybody involved. PMC 2022.
Yeah.
Netflix, tell us about Power Rangers. Hasbro, tell us what's going on. Address that you can't paint villains. Let's go.
There you go.
Yeah. What do we got next? Fire it off.
This one should be positive, but it's not strictly speaking Power Rangers. We've talked about this a little bit. The new Sentai season has been announced. It's coming out in March, I think, so pretty soon. And it's Kikai Sentai Zenkaiser, and it's an anniversary season. And there's been speculation about what it means, whatever. The trailer is out. It's a short trailer. It's only a minute-ish. Have you watched it yet?
I have. I have watched it.
Are you allergic to trailers? What's going on?
I'm just so excited. I just had that little tickle. No, I did watch it.
Yes. I also watched it, but only once and on my phone. So I say, let's watch it right now together. And that way anybody who hasn't seen it, what do you think?
My arm.
Okay. Let me see if I can make this full screen. All right. Let me turn it up a little bit. Oh, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Well, the people at home will be able to hear it. Yeah. Oh, it's got
the part I was like, all right.
It makes me think of the oh, that was from the live presentation.
Oh, okay.
It makes me think of the episodes where Goldar and Rito lost their memery and we're just sort of hanging out.
Oh, yeah, with Vulcan's Soul.
So I wasn't sure how I felt about the designs in general. Like they were interesting, and like there was a lot of like, oh, maybe this means that they're not coming to America, whatever. The retro feel of the main, the red, the white, like people were saying he's not red, but he's the leader. I mean, clearly he's in the front, and so the white, we'll call him. He's clearly like half Aka Ranger, half Big One, and all mixed with the cape and the older music with the horns and stuff. Like it feels very retro, cheesy, good, and it has a very. This is going to sound weird. Akiba Ranger vibe to me.
I was going to say the same thing. And I was waiting for you to say it. Yeah. So my take on it, and I could be completely wrong. So in the future, hashtag Sam O'Neill, if in the future I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But the way I perceived this is the way that the Boom Comics is looking at stuff that happened for like fan films and whatnot, and are now incorporating it, where the current incarnation of the Green Ranger in the comics is the exact same design as the Bat in the Sun from years ago for the superpowered beatdown, where somebody at Toei went, okay, the last couple of seasons, people didn't love it. What are you thinking? And it's like, Akiba Ranger is kind of funny. What if we made a different kind of Akiba Ranger, but made it in continuity and used some of the same beats, took out this, and this, maybe made it less over the top here, more serious there, goofy here, and just like, and then went. And it's like, okay.
That, I mean, and here's the thing: there's probably stuff written that we could look up and find that like whatever the synopsis is that like would let us know. But just the vibe of it, even the goofy it's not. It looks like it's a Gatling gun, like a mini Gatling gun. But it now, like seeing the crank, it looks like a toy, kind of like you crank up the gun and but specifically the shot where presumably the main character is like kneeling down and there's Aka Ranger. It reminds me of when like Akagi, like Nobu would be like, oh my God, it's s.p.d. red, blah, 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 or like Deca Ranger red, and the fact that like the other legendary Rangers are showing up at least in some capacity, as Yeah, and it seems like the rest of the team are just straight up mecha, or that maybe other like the grandma looking lady, maybe she controls one of them for one episode.
I think she's pink.
That I think that too, but I've heard people say that that's not true. So maybe she just does it for one episode. But again, playful stuff like that, like, even if it is just like a rotating cast of whatever. And yes, I know there. If you know and you want to tell us, feel free. But I kind of enjoy the speculation. You know, I kind of enjoy this. What do we? And yeah, it just looks like a fun thing. Okay, I'm gonna throw this out here. We have not. I'm pulling a big dog here because we have not discussed this.
Whoa! Hey!
It's gonna be a while before Dino Fury comes out. s.p.d. we're gonna be done with pretty soon. And if Netflix is gone, we might not be jumping into Mystic Force or anything else. What do you think about if the timelines line up where we got a lot of time to fill before Dino Fury? What if we start doing Zenkaiger episodes?
Oh, dude, I'm super down. If you find a way for us to watch it, I'm 100% down.
All right, let's call that a strong maybe. And if you guys are interested below, let us know. Don't post links anywhere because you know that's going to get everybody in trouble. Yeah. But this is mostly a Power Ranger show, but if we don't have a new season and if watching an older season is going to be problematic, let us know if you want to see some Zenkaiger. And we'd watch it, weekly, the way we would do a current season. Oh, but if we do that, then we're definitely not doing Mystic Force, at least for a while. So if you're like, no, do Mystic Force, let us know below what interests you more. But I find it hard to watch Sentai seasons, but if we have a reason to watch it together, I'll keep up on it. So
yeah,
that's it. It looks fun to me. So I'd like to see that.
So in my typical fashion, as we've now said, I also have an announcement that I didn't discuss with you at all until this moment.
Okay.
So we just finished talking about, the Netflix, most Power Rangers leaving off, and that after s.p.d. leaves us with, what would we watch? What book is left unfinished? And I made the executive decision and took the plunge of buying on DVD the entire season of Operation Overdrive.
Is my favorite season.
I set it up where you could play that, so you're
I
welcome.
would say I was surprised, but if you were going to buy any season, that would be the one I'd expect. I'm surprised you are buying a season though. You got on DVD from Shout Factory or whatever.
I believe it's the Shout Factory version. I hope so. I looked. It's available on Amazon if the way I bought it now does not work out.
Right.
But before looking for a new on Amazon from Shout Factory, I wanted to see on eBay if there were any used copies that would be cheaper. In all honesty, I should have just done the sure thing and bought it on Amazon in retrospect. But I'm buying it from like a library in the Midwest.
Why is it not a sure thing? I mean, if I buy off eBay all the time. And
No. It didn't have a picture. And it's from a library, and it says it's the entire season, and I could be totally not getting the
entire season. Or they could come and be all scratched up because it was in
or
the library.
Something. But yeah, it wasn't a ton of money.
I'm curious.
$7
shipped.
Yeah,
that's a fair gamble because if it's a good set for $7, because what does it cost? Like $30?
$10 on Amazon.
Oh, well, then that's a weird gamble.
I didn't. Full transparency. I looked on eBay before I looked on Amazon, and then after I hit order, I was like, I should have checked on Amazon.
Yeah, I would have thought it would have been $20 to $30 for a set for a season new. But yeah, for $3 more, I would have just got. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I know. But like I said, if it works out, if it works out, then I'm supporting a library in Kentucky.
Sure, fair. Let me ask you this though. Aside from the fact that it's your favorite season, putting that aside, why did you get Overdrive over Mystic Force when theoretically Mystic Force would be the next one in chronological order?
Because for those that don't know that are newer to the show, Gazbot and I have a very tumultuous time when it comes to Overdrive.
I think it's an okay season. He thinks it's the best season. That's,
So, sarcasm aside, years ago, I watched the history of Power Rangers for every season I've seen and some that I hadn't finished. Overdrive was a season I had not seen at all. From everything I saw from that, I'm like, wow, this is pretty terrible. Watched a little bit on Netflix, went, yep, this is terrible. Told Gazbot, this season is terrible. When we both eventually watched it all,
that, when we got to the end of the journey,
Operation Overdrive is my favorite season.
So it was quite a thing.
Haha. So I was like, this season's bad. It is I'm going to argue that it's the worst season. And he said, how could you say that if you haven't watched all of it? And I said,
That is a fair
fine.
comment.
I will vow to you that I will watch it all to confirm that it is the
Operation Overdrive is my favorite season.
God, I hate you so much. So how long ago is this? This was like 2 or 3 years ago that we actually started watching it, and we're on like episode 6.
Well, to be fair, we kind of did it like goofing around watching episode or two. And then we said, hey, let's start doing this. And we had a couple other people over and we made a video of it. And we're like, we'll do a couple of these like live
2 weeks before Shelter in Place in California.
Yeah. We were going to start getting together on a regular basis and have these sort of live, like not live streaming, but like in the living room watch parties that we then like you could find that one video. And then, then it went Shelter in Place. So then we stopped. So you, all things being equal, you would rather watch Overdrive before Mystic Force to get to the end of that and then go back and watch Mystic Force.
Here's what I'll say, because I forget how much Mystic Force was, but it wasn't cheap enough for me to just buy it too.
Gotcha.
If you want to buy Mystic Force and we watch it next, I'm more than happy to do it.
If I buy Mystic Force, you have to buy it too, though. How could you watch it?
If you streamed it from your computer where we both go watch it.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, so basically what's just been decided here is that we're not watching Mystic Force next because
I'm going to ramble for a second.
We're going to either watch Zenkaiger or Operation Overdrive. That's what
I
we're going
vote
to do.
Zenkaiger first, by the way.
I'm leaving it open to the people in the comments. Zenkaiger, Mystic Force, or Operation Overdrive. I guess those are the 3 things that we will be looking at after s.p.d. before Dino Fury. If you have a strong opinion, let us know. The Mystic Force, vote for it if you want to, and we will take that into account. But money is a thing, and we don't have a Patreon or anything, so anything we spend comes out of our own pocket. So if Big Dog already has Operation Overdrive, that's going to weight our decision a lot. But Zenkaiger isn't something we'd have to buy, so that's an equal thing. How much is Mystic Force?
So there's 2 of them. I found Mystic Force by itself on Amazon from a third-party seller for $20 shipped.
Not terrible.
I also found, and this is from Shout Factory for this next one, a third-party seller is bundling Operation Overdrive and Mystic Force for $24.
Wow. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. Well, so this is all to be determined. Feel free to throw today is Monday, the 18th. My plan, barring anything going on, is I'm going to put this up right after we do it. So you should be watching this on Monday. There will be a new episode Tuesday of s.p.d. that we recorded previously. And
I got 2 comic episodes coming at you this week.
I don't have those yet.
I know you don't. They're recorded this week and will be out in the next week, either back-to-back or spread. But
neither this nor those have anything to do with the s.p.d. episodes because we have this one coming out Tuesday and the one for next Tuesday is already recorded and ready to go as well. But so what we're asking about the next season is very premature, but voice it now and, we'll start making plans accordingly. Okay. that was a huge side tangent we got on there. Okay. So do you have another thing you want to talk about next, or should I just look to the tabs and pick up something here?
I didn't send you a link for it, but I did find a toy related thing. If you wanted to just type it into Google really quick, Power Raiders is what it's called, and it's a third party Power Rangers related series of toys.
Do they have a Facebook page? If so, I might have just found it. Nope, there's a team called Power Raiders, and that's what keeps coming up.
Oh, Collectibles just posted that the most recent, and I think official Power Morphicon reposted from them or something. But Power Raiders is a super deformed series from a third party, and they're based on Power Ranger Zords from Mighty Morphin era. And they combine and they're very stylized. I think they look really cool. I love that I am not at all tempted to buy them, but I like that they exist, and I think they're really cool. And they just announced that the Dragon Zord will have one that'll make
I wish they were doing stuff. Well, you know what? Never mind. I was going to say they are neat. Like you, I'm not at all tempted to buy them because it just doesn't fit my aesthetic or my collection. I was about to say I wish they'd do something other than Mighty Morphin / Zeo Ranger, but considering I'm not going to be buying them, doesn't matter. Whatever was going to sell.
Yeah, they have that one. They have a Dragon
I'm just looking
Zord.
at the two collectibles. Oh, they're okay. Power
There,
Ranger.
that was what was just announced today. Was the Ultra Zord version of it,
They're not
which I
showing
think looks
it,
really cool. It was just announced today.
Okay, so it's like yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool. That is interesting news. I'm glad I don't personally feel the need to get it.
Does it say how much that is? By the way, I'm curious. I don't remember the price
Let me
point.
see.
It wasn't cheap enough for me to be like, I'd put that on my desk.
It's not listed right here. I'd have to. Oh, Total Collectibles is sold out. You have to find it elsewhere. So
Then
if you
never
do,
mind.
yeah.
But just something I thought was cool. Which, speaking of toys,
yes.
what are we talking about now?
Is there another toy news?
Yeah, I thought you had 3-0 up.
Oh yes. Sorry, I wasn't considering that toys. Okay, here we go.
All right. So, Power Rangers, Hasbro specifically, has teamed up with a company called 3-0 to make 12-inch 1/6 scale soft goods Power Rangers.
They basically, here's the thing. They look like Hot Toys, but they seem cheaper than Hot Toys.
They're significantly cheaper, but they are a Hot Toys competitor, yes.
But it worries me. They look really good, as you can see in the picture. And they're expensive, but for the type of figure they are, they're not expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm worried, is there some quality issue that we're unaware of? Or is it just because there's so much reuse they could get away with basically just making new helmets and colors?
My understanding, so what I know predominantly from 3-0, they did very artist-specific kind of 12-inch figures before that I never took part in. Some people love them, some people hate them. Recently, they've been partnering up with Hasbro. Like super stylized, like rubber texture Iron Man.
Okay, gotcha. So they take
from like a
characters.
Specific artist. Yeah, like
gotcha. But these don't have us. These look right out of the show. They don't seem to have a special.
Correct. Yeah. They before I think were really stylized, and then they started partnering with Hasbro and they started doing like movie Transformers that were all die cast and everybody loves those. And now they've been doing Power Rangers and G.I. Joe for direct like Hot Toys competitors in the market. And yeah, this being $100 is ridiculously cheap. And especially being officially licensed is.
I noticed they don't have a White Ranger. They have this. They have a bust and a few other things here, but they don't have a White Ranger in this scale yet.
Correct. So what you're looking at right now, this is on Sideshow's website. So Sideshow is distributing these. You can purchase them through that or other means like online retailers and stuff.
It does look like they're $100 each, but if you get the whole set, you get it for $50 less. So
correct.
If you have that kind of money and you want the whole team, that's the way to do it.
So these look great. Honestly, I'm probably getting at least one.
I'm tempted. They look awesome. What?
You want to get the brothers?
The brothers?
From Zoo Ranger.
Oh, no. You're saying that's what you want, or you're telling me what I want?
I thought that's what you wanted.
No. If I got one, it would be the Green Ranger. But if these came out a couple of years ago, I'd be all over them. But I have the SH figure arts of the whole team. I have the Legacy, or no, I just got rid of the Legacy, but I had it. I have the Lightning collection, and that's not even counting the various vintage I have. I don't need another version of Mighty Morphin. If I got this, I'd have to sell a bunch of the ones I have, and I don't really want to, especially because while they're awesome, the Hot Toys 12-inch scale, I don't have that collection. I don't have anything that size. Well, I mean, I might have one or two kicking around, but like I don't have a shelf full of them. So it's not even like, well, I'll put them next to my Star Wars. I'll put them next to my Iron Man. Like I would need a special place just for them. So as good as they are and as cheap, quote unquote, as they are, even though they're very expensive, I think I'm safe because I don't need, if this was like Jungle Fury or something, I'd be much more like, because I don't have a million versions of Jungle Fury and it is my favorite but yeah, I don't think I'll be getting any of these. The only way I'd get them is if like Green was on sale, used, it was like $50 or some ridiculous thing that I couldn't pass up.
Yeah. I don't think these are ever going to go on like deep sale unless it's like Black Friday, 20% off.
I don't even mean from them. I mean like if I'm at a toy show or on eBay or something.
No, I know. But just to kind of set the precedent, if these ever got that low, something is seriously wrong with them. Would I buy these for $50 a piece in a heartbeat? But that's not the point.
Do you want to talk about the other 12-inch figures?
So the reason that this is so interesting is these were announced within the last month or so, but 2 years ago, the original announcement came, and then they finally shipped in 2020. But a third-party company called Ace Toys made their own figures that look very similar, called the Classic Mighty Superhero. And they have green hero and white hero and red hero. You get the picture. So the reason this is interesting, obviously, they look very similar.
And they do have white, actually. I didn't even think about that.
They also have armored red and armored black. So these are about 140 individually. If you got the core 5 team, I think it was like 550 combinable weapons, and like pretty much Pepsi and Coke if one of them was unofficial. But those are really old images. The actual new ones look different than those. The pictures you had up top are most accurate, I believe.
Yeah, I was just trying to find individual shots. They didn't have them, but I'll just leave this one up for now.
Yeah. So is there any way to zoom in or no?
I can, but the resolution is low. If you send me another, this is just what I found. I didn't have time to like search real hard.
Yeah.
And
so I've heard mixed reviews on these. Some people absolutely love them. Some people hate them because they're not official. Some people hate them because they've had QC issues.
What are the QC issues you've heard of?
Some people have had breaking, but like pretty much every reviewer I've watched, and I think the company themselves have said, when popping the hands off, heat with a hairdryer first.
So kind of like NECA style where you have to.
Kind of, yeah. So that was the major one. Some people had issues where I think the pecs are too low, and you could see them depending on which ranger it is because of the color. Where like you see a nipple really low. Sorry. But so these are very similarly priced, but in a weird turn of events, the official ones are cheaper. Now that raises another question.
Yeah, I think I found some better pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the black you were talking about.
It looks magnificent. I mean, that looks absolutely phenomenal.
I can't get it to full screen for some reason. That's a nice set right there, the 2 armored.
Yeah. Like those look great. They're more expensive. Obviously, importing them, not having Hasbro's distribution is part of it. But like
smaller print run too is going to cost more.
Yeah. But that's the thing is people are really up for debate now. Some people are, sticking with Ace Toys and saying, nope, I got these or I plan on getting these and they're good. Other people are like, shun the non-believers. I'm only getting Hasbro official. And to each their own. I think, especially in collecting, it's very rare that we have something like this where you have 2 things that are similar at roughly similar price points doing the same or trying to do the same thing at the same time.
The question is if the official ones are cheaper and they're equal quality, the official ones win. The Ace Toys have to be better because they're unofficial and they're more expensive. Yep. So the people, because you've looked into this more than I have, the people who are supporting Ace Toys, what is their argument for why Ace Toys is better since they cost more?
There's a lot of speculation right now because for Ace Toys, the promotional images from the past that you were scrolling over that I was like, oh, don't look at those are better. These are actually like, I've seen reviewers have these and they look exactly like this. Like these are current, these look great. But the original ones didn't look as good. People still ordered. They came in, were even better than expected. The problem is, and we've seen this firsthand with the Lightning Collection, is a lot of times we'll see great promo images and then they show up and something's up with them.
Oh, so the argument, okay, so then people have these Ace Toys in hand and they're like, they're great. Nobody has the 3-0 in hand and they're like, what if they're not great? So fine, it's an unknown quantity, but once let's say that people get the 3-0 and they go, oh no, these are just as good as we'd hoped. Then why would anybody get Ace Toys, with the exception of the white and the armored black and ones that you can't get? Although presumably 3-0 will do if it's a successful line.
I would say if you find a deal on them, that's thing one. If some people are like, nope, 3-0 is the best ones, I'm going to fire sale my Ace Toys. Some people just might prefer them. The price is right, whatever. I think just side by side, they all are pretty comparable, except Green Ranger is very different.
But it's a matter of choice, like aesthetics.
Yes, the Ace Toys is Zoo Ranger, Green Ranger, like straight up. It's kind of like the SH Figure Arts argument where it's like, oh, this green is different than the Hasbro one. Yeah, I know.
Right.
Like
okay.
that, I think the armored figures is why you would go Ace Toys, but the core team, I'd have to look. If they don't have the power cannon, there's not a huge reason that you shouldn't go.
Had the power cannon, didn't they?
Well, here's the thing. The Ace Toys, each person has individual weapons, and there's already a fully constructed power cannon.
Right.
So that's the big difference is you can have them there, and one person can
you actually have to like build them out of their
potentially. That's the part I don't know because I haven't looked.
Here's the real question, and I know you don't know the answer to this, but if you'll be able to mix and match and pick the ones that you like from each one, how well they'll go together. Because like going back to Star Wars Black Series, I mostly collect Star Wars Black Series, but there's a few Mezco I've picked up, or wait, Mafex that I've picked up that match perfectly. So it could be a thing of like, well, I'm just going to get the core team with the cheaper ones, and then I'll get Tommy as like the more expensive one or whatever, you know.
I think if you're going to mix and match, like I said, it's going to be armored because if you have the core team for either one, I think you could get red individually for Ace Toys, but you could only get the other Rangers if you bought a 5-pack.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, because it came with the power cannon.
That's like a Super 7 style where they would be like, oh, yeah, you have to buy all 4 of these He-Man figures, and then you could buy individuals.
But to their credit, in the low print run, like you said, it makes sense of what sells. Red Rangers and 6 Rangers and power-ups. So what they do, instead of us having a bunch of yellow Rangers and blue Rangers that nobody wanted to buy, you either get them all or you get none of them, and kind of called it good there, which I get. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, yes, it makes sense, and I'm glad that this isn't anything I have to worry about because I'm just not going to get any of them.
I'm very curious, and once they get released, I'm going to talk about them again. The 3.0 gets released, I'm going to talk about them again because thus far, the reason people are so hyped up is they've gotten the G.I. Joe figures from Hasbro /3.0, similar price points, and they're phenomenal from everything I've heard. Everybody's like, I don't understand how these are so good for $125. Yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's the license, I guess, is cheaper. Like for both G.I. Joe and Power Rangers, I'm assuming it's much cheaper than for Marvel or for Star Wars because they're bigger properties right now. So I'm guessing that's where the savings is if the quality is just as good.
I think, to your point, yes. The licensing for Hasbro is they can help distribute because they're in the toy game, and because they own the toy properties, they go, you make them, we split the difference. It's so much easier to have a contract that way where Marvel's like, well, if you want to use Spider-Man, give us a bunch of money. Well, what about the toy stuff? We don't do toy stuff. We have characters. Whereas Hasbro does both. So that's where it might be working out in their favor. But I don't know. Like it's exciting.
It is exciting. It's exciting.
Hopefully,
and like I said, if this was a couple of years ago, I'd be like, oh my God, I'd be watching which is better. Oh, I gotta, but I'm at a point in my collection where I'm like, I don't know where I'd put them and I don't think I need them, but they look great.
Yeah, I could see being myself. I just thought of something that I hope doesn't happen. I'll get into that in a minute. But I could see myself getting a Red Ranger to like put on my desk at work.
Sure.
From 3.0.
Yeah.
And going from there using, Amazon gift cards that I earned from my work and kind of, circle of life.
Assuming that they stick around that long, because there's also, I don't know how they're going to do this line, but there's a lot of lines where it's like, okay, well, this was out for a few months and now you can't get it anymore. And now they're $200 each or $300 each. Like that could happen too.
Well, no, I'm saying if the pre-orders, I haven't checked if they're on Amazon, but if the pre-orders are on there and I could just pre-order it now, I would do it for like $90 or whatever it was.
Gotcha. But what was the thought you just had?
Yeah. So they don't have a White Ranger or an Armored Red Ranger. And if they made that a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, would just...
Armored Red maybe, but White Ranger as an exclusive, that's too much. Also, who knows if we're going to have San Diego this year? Because San Diego is in the summer, just like Morphicon. Yeah, they're not going to have Comic-Con this year, actually.
No, but here's the thing, though. They didn't have the physical con last year, but how many exclusives did everybody end up buying from home?
Yeah, that's true. And the Hasbro exclusives ended up being like pre-orders, and then they're going to be up again later soon anyway. So
they're pre-ordered again for like March or something. So they did like 3 different waves of them, which, hey, I mean, if you bought them to try to flip them, That sucks. If you bought them because you want them, good on you.
Yeah, I bought them because I wanted them, and I opened
Exactly.
I got them before everyone else. But really, I just want to make sure I had them. So I opened them. I don't care. We are coming up on an hour, so I don't want to go too much longer. Did you have anything else? That was your last big news thing you wanted to talk about, or is there something else?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. We've talked about a lot of stuff. Power Rangers today, obviously, more negative than we initially intended or thought, but just kind of looking back at every piece of news as a whole, like I really just want some more information from Hasbro or the powers that be, just to confirm some stuff or deny some stuff. Like
communication.
Yeah,
it's a lot
that's
easier
really all
take,
I want.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to take anything, bad news, good news, whatever, just like with a little bit of even if they can't tell us anything, just acknowledge that they can't tell us anything. Like, stuff's going on that we can't talk about right now.
Yeah, like I feel like so many times that we do news, and especially most of today's episode, is so much speculation. And most of it doesn't need to be. Right. If you know that people don't like that the villains aren't painted for the Lightning Collection, acknowledge it like you did the White Ranger and say either sucks to suck or you're going to fix it.
As long as you're being negative, I a while ago got the White Ranger, sent in the letter. They said they send me a new head. Still haven't gotten it.
Wow.
Similarly, you remember how long it took them to acknowledge that I had a Psycho Green with bad paint?
Oh, yeah.
Like, we don't have any more, but we'll send you another figure, which sounds good. First of all, it's been in and out of stock 2 times since that happened. Like, I think it's in stock right now. It was like 2 days ago. So like, and I'll send them back the old figure. Like that, it wasn't even like this. So, but I have not gotten any updates on that or gotten the figure. So they said they sent me a new head and a new figure. Haven't gotten either. I assume I will, but it's like the figure I know is a little bit weirder, but like the head, I figured it would go right out, So I don't know.
Yeah. So that reminds me, I need to do that on my Dino Thunder White.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna, like I said before, we're going to hit a point where it's going to be too late.
Yeah, I know. It is. Yeah.
All right.
I waited too long if I did, but what I was saying is, Hasbro, if you're listening, and you sometimes do, but probably not, just talk to us. Like, tell us about the Netflix thing. Get us hyped about Dino Fury. Tell us where to watch Power Rangers. I want to watch it. I want to get figures that are good, that don't have messed up paint. Like, just talk to us, man. When you do your Hasbro Fan First Fridays, hopefully you bring those back this year. Don't just talk about stuff that we don't care about.
I will also say, going back to frustrating things, like collecting NECA turtles has been very frustrating.
Yeah.
And they haven't been perfect, but they have addressed it. The company has talked about knowing the problems and said, okay, we know there's bots and this exclusive stuff. They don't always fix everything, but just know them saying, yeah, we know there's problems and we're trying to work on it, blah, blah, blah. It still is hard and frustrating at times, but it feels better because it's like, okay, well, they know there's a problem. They're going to try to fix it. They know we're not happy. Whereas with Power Rangers and Hasbro, it just seems like they're like, we don't see anything. We don't hear anything. We don't say anything. And it's a lot of speculation. Last week I talked about, and it hasn't come yet, but I talked about, I got a deal on the Ryu Soldier. What is it called? I have it right for me.
Oh, the Red Ranger.
Yeah. I got it for $33. And now it is back up to $60. So good for me. But 60, I think, is about what retail was. So what I had said was, I see these a year or two after it happens with Ultraman, Kamen Rider, all these Sentai, like for a minute after the show is no longer popular with kids and in their home country, the stuff starts to come down and basically is overstock clearance. Like, oh, no kids are going to buy this because it's not on TV. And it gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Then it hits a point where like, oh, now they're collectibles, and it starts going up, 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 and up. I think we are exactly at the moment where you could get this at retail and it's going to start going up, especially with Dino Fury coming out, because Hasbro is going to have its own version. Most people prefer the Japanese. So yes, I got the $33 deal, which is amazing. But if you're, this is a bad picture, but if you're thinking about getting this guy or anything from that era, I would not wait.
Yeah, he looks awesome like that, especially because you got the DX, so it's all chromey, painted nice. Or not chromey, metallic, rather.
Is it? I didn't even realize that there was a difference.
Yeah, from my understanding, the DX is like better painted.
I thought the DX was the only version of this, to be honest. But regardless, this is what I got.
Yeah, you got a good one.
Yeah. One final thing to end on, which is a little bit whimsical, and it's more of an open-ended thing. I saw Daryl J. Delphin, who I follow on Twitter, He's like an actor and a Power Rangers guy, and he's affiliated with Hashtag Show and stuff. He posted this thing up. I actually saw somebody else share this, but he was saying to do it on Twitter. He's like, quote, tweet this and ask your followers which color Power Ranger they see you as. Bonus points if they say a specific Ranger. Now, I don't use Twitter that much, and you don't use it at all. So I figured I'm giving him credit, and I'm saying it's on his Twitter. If you want to follow him, great. Actually, here, I'll give another like right there. Boom. But we could throw it out to you guys watching. What color Ranger do you think I would be? What color Ranger do you think the big dog would be? And bonus points if you name a specific Ranger. So just like, I don't know, that would be fun, but I knew if I threw it on Twitter, we'd get no response.
That is super fun. Yeah. Yeah. Let us know. And yeah, I'm curious. The one thing I will ask is try not to use bias for the Gazbot Knight or the Big Dog Defender picture that Gazbot did a long time ago of me.
True.
That's all I ask. Other than that, go nuts, because I'm
if you're
very
gonna
curious.
use bias,
Operation Overdrive is my favorite season.
you could consider that if you want. I mean,
You're
that's
terrible. You're an awful person.
anyway. I am terrible, but I have been Gazbot.
Gazbot's not that bad, but I'm pretty good as the Big Dog Defender.
And
To the power. See you guys later.
and
So what, you're not going to say anything?
Honestly, I was looking at myself dancing in the little
Getting a little-
monitor.
little
Yeah, I was doing
Zuba
a little
Jamie
shoulder dancing here.
I think we're the best dancers in the world, right?
Best dancers in this room for sure.
Okay.